Okay, today we are going to do simple interest. So let's write that down. Simple interest on 1/23/23. 23/23. Simple interest. All right. It's something completely new. There's simple interest and there's compound interest. Interest, there's a positive and a negative to interest. Do any of you have a savings account right now? You can go to the bank and withdraw millions and millions of dollars.
Oh wait, is it? I have I don't know, but it's kind of like an account that saves your money. Like an account that saves your money for when you need it.
I know, I have a card if that makes any sense.
All right. All right, here we go. So, some of you might have, Isaac, a bank account in which we are paying attention on our iPads. And you have money there. And if it's called a savings account, then the bank is giving you interest, meaning they're giving you free money for keeping your money in the bank. Now, it might be a couple cents, a couple dollars every month, but it's free money that they give you, like a thank you for leaving your money in the bank, not in your closet or something.
That's a scam.
Okay? That's a very small amount, but it is free money nonetheless. Yes?
If the bank actually goes bankrupt, you only get 25% what you keep. So, you only keep 25% of your own money if the bank goes bankrupt.
Okay.
So that's not true. Most of the United States banks are FDA insured.
So school is safe then.
Instagram
From my
Reels.
friends at school, so school.
Your friends at school.
Yes.
Yes.
That probably makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So banks in the United States are what they're called, Aiden, FDA approved. If anything happens to them, your money is insured. Yes. So then there's the negative interest that most of us will experience, unfortunately. It's the interest that makes you owe more money. Every time you use a credit card and you don't pay it at the end of the month, guess what happens? You are charged in interest. And it's a very high percent. It's like at least 13% interest. And now you've known percent and you know, well,
Oh, so they make you pay more money.
yes, they make you pay more money. So if I go to Target and I buy all of this stuff that's on my desk, notebooks, pencils, pens, a computer at Target, if they even sell them. They do. They sell Chromebooks. And I charge it all on my credit card. They swipe it. I go home. Yay, I'm so excited. I got all this new stuff. Then my credit card bill comes at the end of the month, and it says I owe $100. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pay that.
Relatable.
So, next month, I get my credit card bill again, and I haven't used it. I didn't use it. Am I still going to owe $100? No. I'm going to owe, not that much,
Well, no.
but
150, 120.
let's say like 115, 120. But you're like, wait, I didn't charge anything. Well, what they did was they charged me interest. So it's like a fee. So an interest, it's a negative fee. So now I don't owe $100. Now I owe 120. And guess what happens if I don't pay this 120?
It goes up.
It goes up. Even more so, right? When I go buy a car, I buy my super cool, awesome car, right?
Yep.
Let's say it costs $60,000. Am I going to show up with $60,000 in cash? No. You know.
I thought you were top G.
You know. Anyways, so what I do is I go to the bank and I go, hey bank, I know I'm super cool and awesome and super rich, but can I borrow $60,000? Yeah, for what? Oh, to buy a car. Okay, yeah, sure, for sure. You're Miss Lamelli. Here's 70. Oh, okay, thank you. So they let me borrow. They give me a check that says $70,000. I go to the super cool, awesome auto dealership. Be like, here's my check. I want the car. They go, sure, okay. Guess what happens with those $70,000? I have to pay it every month. And guess what they charge me? Interest. So at the end, am I just paying $70,000?
No.
I'm paying more. Let's say $75,000.
That's not fair because you asked for 60,000, not 70,000.
Well, I could have said no. But that was just just touched to me.
Cool like that.
I'm super cool. They gave me extra money. So I got the leather package. I don't know.
Yeah, so you got to pay for it.
So when you buy a house, guess what?
What?
You have to take out a loan and you have to pay interest.
What if you pay all cash? What if you're rich? Yeah, what if you
Totally.
They're gonna suspect you.
Yeah, what if you pay
Totally.
without the
Totally. You're laundering money. Great.
Yeah.
Usually you don't want to just cash out all your money. You want to take out these loans, even if you have like $60,000 in your pocket. You don't want to like, oh, here you go,
Cash out, Brian.
cash out. All right, here we go. So interest is equal to PRT.
What is it?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Toyota.
Oh, that's cool. I was over here for price range.
PRT. There's two. All right. Okay, so the I, so this is going to be step one. The I stands for interest
Yeah, I ain't you,
is equal to, the P stands for principal, but principal meaning the money, but we use a fancy word for principal. So how much money did you borrow? Did you borrow 70? Did you borrow 20? Did you borrow $500,000 to buy a house? Interest is equal to principal. The R stands for rate, which is another word for percent. Okay? And the T stands for
Tax.
time in years. Okay, time in years. So is it going to take you 1 year to pay it off? Is it going to take you 5 years to pay it off? Is it going to take you 30 years? So for a car, usually you have 5 years to pay it. For a house, it's 30 years.
What happens if you don't pay it?
Repo.
You kicked out.
What if you die?
Then,
You're trying to use a dime.
well, no. It's Dylan.
You have to pay the house back? Or like,
Well, so either your family continues paying it, or the bank takes it back.
oh, okay.
So your family, if your family still, like, if you're living by yourself, then okay, well, you know. Or if you're like, oh no, wait, my whole family still lives there, then they'll take over the payments.
Oh.
What if they take
Okay. So, number 2. So number 1, your first thing you're doing is you're multiplying these 3 numbers, and that will give you your interest. So you multiply these 3 numbers that are in the word problem, gives you your interest. So I guess I should title that interest. You're first solving for interest, and the second thing you're solving for is total. Like, how much am I paying back in total? How much am I borrowing in total? How much am I going to have in my bank account in total? And what you do is you the first thing you do is the principal. So how much did you borrow plus your interest? That will give you your total amount, total investment, total things you have to pay back. So it's super weird. Not super hard at all, especially because you're going to be using a calculator. So first thing is solving for interest, which is PRT. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to add. Unless it tells you, well, how much interest are you going to pay? That would just be step 1. If it says total, then you do both steps. Kind of like a tax and tip. Very similar to that. All right, so let's do a word problem. I borrow $60,000 from the bank. I pay it back in 5 years at a rate of 4%. Now, everybody writes this down. This is a disclaimer. This is very different. There's two types of interest. In 7th grade, we learn simple interest. This is a false reality. It's a little bit different in the real world, but it gives us a pretty good idea about interest. In my story, I don't make a payment until the end. In real life, you make payments every month. How much will I pay back in total? Yeah.
Oh, rate. Oh, that a rate.
Rate. Sorry, I know my letters kind of sometimes, yeah. I borrow $60,000 from the bank. I pay it back in 5 years at a rate of 4%. How much will I pay back in total?
Wait, isn't it like...
So,
I mean, that's multiplying, right?
you dots?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you have to figure out what's the principal, the rate, and the time. Which number represents the principal?
60,000.
So this is my principal. What's my rate?
The percent.
4% my rate. And what's my time?
5 years.
5 years. Has to be in years. Has to be in years.
So we multiply all of them?
Yes, but do I just multiply 5 times 4?
No.
No. Yeah. So you have to multiply 60,000 times, what's 4% written as a decimal? 0.04 times 5.
I got 12,000. Yeah, I got 12,000.
All right, let's give everyone an opportunity to use the calculator, type this out. You should get 12,000. But if you get 120, if you get 1,200,000, you're doing something wrong. So we should get 12,000. Double check, triple check on your calculator. Don't just
And
wait.
then he do 60,000 plus 12?
Yep.
Chill out.
No. It's 12,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 6 should change into a 7. So when I multiply everything together, so my interest is equal to 12,000. Okay, so make sure you label that as interest. So if the question just says, what's the interest? It would just be 12,000. So you're going to pay an extra $12,000 for borrowing this money. It is what it is. It's actually less, but for our class, you know. So our total is going to be 60,000 plus 12,000. So what is 60,000 times 12,000?
72,000.
This is the 12,000 is the interest, right?
Is the
They
inches?
get read.
No, the interest is 12,000.
Yeah, interest is 12,000.
You're
The
a jerk.
total.
It's not sarcasm, bro.
Aiden, don't say that. Yes. Cancel that.
At this point.
Reschedule.
Yeah?
So reschedule it.
Anyone has to leave?
Terrible. How are we gonna build this awesome, amazing robot if you're not there? Can you guys come on Thursday then?
I think. Not on Wednesday, but on Thursday.
I'll replace Owen for robotics.
There you go. I have a
Who's playing?
savings account with
Yeah,
$4,500. Yay! I have a savings account, which is what some of you have already. Your parents started it, maybe for your college fund. You're not too late. Not too late. Hey, if you get any like, what should we call it, birthday money, Christmas money, you might want to ask them like, hey, can I go to the bank and open up a savings account?
My grandparents just give me a check instead of.
You're gonna say no.
Oh, good old grandparents.
They give me $250.
Hey, share it. Pizza's on Owen next time.
You gotta pay her.
I have a savings account with $400. It earns 2%
Oh, I got Costco pizza.
interest rate. Aiden, we are recording. We are recording. 2% interest rate. if I have the money in the bank for 18 years, how much will I have? So, why is it 18 years? Because some of your parents, they open it up when you're born, and then you can't touch it until you turn 18, which makes you an adult, which you're ready for college. It depends on what they could specify, like, this is for college money.
Wait, was the last one negative?
I mean, there are some, like, super, like, you're talking about, like, millions of dollars in accounts, and they specify, like, either they're going to use this for college, or they have to wait until they're older to cash it out. So I've known people, like, if they're 18 and they go to college, they can take out money. But if they don't go to college, then they have to wait until, like, they're 27. You know, much older. So they don't just, like, let's go party. All right. So, what is the principal equal to? 4,500. What does the what is the R equal to?
0.02.
2%, which is equal to 0.02. And what is my time?
18 years.
18 years. And it has to be in years.
1,620.
That's a process. We're going to process it. Seriously, like, now I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to give up, says my students. All right. So interest is equal to PRT. So what does that mean? What do these dots mean? They mean to multiply. So in the calculator, I have to do 4,500 times 0.02 times 18. Now, can you type these in any order? Yes, you can type them in any order. It's multiplication. You can change the order. So let's open up the iPads or the phones, type them in. All right. So 4,500 times, 4,500, times 0.02 times 18. So interest is equal to $1,620. So the total is, you take your principal and you're going to add your interest. So my principal is 4,500. That's how much money we started with. Your interest is 1,620. Yep. Huh? Yes, sure. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot of money. So banks will, this interest is really low, 2%, and that's what banks do. They don't pay you a lot. But it's free money. It's just money that is just going to be in your bank account for free. There it is. Because you're not touching. You see, Sophia. Because as I stand here, teacher's blind. You see how it's like, blinding the teacher. So I think if we have one on this side, it'll be good, right? Did you guys work on it on Friday or not?
What?
I have a yes and I have a no. Fantastic.
Huh?
You have a what?
I'm just nodding my head, so I think I have no idea what
Is
you're
that even like stopping the light from coming?
Well, that's why I was discussing with the team. So on Friday, and there's a word I got to change.
Just get a current.
Yes, your current.
Just get current so I can miss gas.
Okay.
Just cut them.
But I have Spider Lab kids that can fix it.
But you have 5 lakhs.
All right. Are we okay with interest? Do we need another problem?
Yes, another
Yeah,
problem.
we'll do.
Get it with you.
Okay. Okay. I took out a $700,000 loan to buy a small house.
A small house. In California, that's probably all. We probably still get.
All right, let me put a pause on this. I took out a loan for $700,000. Okay. It takes 30 years to pay it back at an interest rate of, a year ago, it was 3%. And that's why the housing market prices went up. People started buying. Today, I think the interest rate is, like 7%. So it doubled in the last year. So now it's a lot harder to buy a house because the interest rate is so much higher. I took out a $700,000 loan to buy a small house. It takes 30 years to pay it back at an interest rate of 7%. Now, again, disclaimer, this math is if you make no payments. In real life, you are making payments, so this keeps going down, down, down each month. It's a good estimate what we're doing, but it's not realistic 100%. Okay, so figure out what's your principal, what's your rate, and what's your time. Okay, my principal is $700,000. Make sure when you type it into the calculator, you have enough zeros. My rate is 7%, which is equal to 0.07. And then my time is 30 years, because that's usually how long it takes. Yep.
2,100,000.
So technically they win in the end.
That's
$1,407,000.
I mean,
but you still have to add the principal, remember?
yeah, you still have to pay $700,000. So
my
700 times 0.07 times 30.
400.
It's 1,407,000. And then you add that plus the 700,000, it's 2,170,000.
So your total will be your principal plus your interest. So my principal is the amount you borrowed, because you have to pay that back, plus your interest. So my principal is 700,000 plus 1,470,000.
You're a hazard. I'm a hazard? Yeah, so... No, you. No, just in the house. Am I? Good.
Now, again, disclaimer. This is if you make no payments. Now, you got to make payments. If not, they take the house away. But this is a good idea. So you are, in real life, you're a lot less on the interest. A lot less. But this is just in case. It's a good idea. Gets you an idea of interest. Gives you an idea of interest. Ouch.
Were you talking about someone? Were you talking about someone?
Oh, dang, my house is cheap.
I've been feeling today.
800. Yo, if you guys want my house, it comes with the trampoline.
One day you could get like
A baby trampoline.
I'm running Texas.
How much? 800. 600,000.
How many bedrooms?
827,000.
The location?
And
This costs less than my apartment.
Stay in school, kids. Save your money.
so Melly, my house comes with a trampoline.
I'm moving to Texas. I'm moving to
Only
Texas.
800.
I'm selling my house and moving to Texas. You can buy like 5 houses there.
All right.
You can buy a bigger house than mine in Texas for like $300K.
All right. So you guys are all moving to Texas. I get it.
Crazy.
No, Ohio, bro.
Well, I mean, that's all I'm hearing right now.
Oklahoma.
Cowgirl. That's your house?
What the hell?
We don't talk about what happened.
We don't talk about Bruno.
And we're still recording.
Oh, sorry, cowgirl fans out there. Stop hating. Why?
Bagels.
We didn't do that bad though. Y'all did good to be honest. I thought y'all were gonna end up like
Be nice. Be nice.
It wasn't that expensive.
already working on it.
Not including the time that we pause. Like at least 30 minutes.
He's like,
Are we all done with number 1?
I'm done with number 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold up.
Tell me, when you're doing it, you're telling me, okay, what is just the interest equal to? Like,
Oh, the interest.
your interest,
Interest is 120.
120?
No, 240.
240. So 240 when you multiply everything. You say 120, you didn't multiply by 2. So that's your first answer. That's like, what's your interest? But then you have to find out your total. Right? Because the question says how much money will Mark need to pay back? He doesn't just pay 240, he has to pay the total, which is 3,240. It's the 3,000 plus your interest. That gives you your total. So your total is kind of like if you let someone you let your brother borrow $5. He has to pay you back those $5, right? Now you know you're going to charge him $6. I'll let you borrow $5, but you got to pay me back $6. That's how you make money.
Each week that my brother paid,
my
I
brother
charge him
probably
$10
owes
more.
me his entire life.
There you go.
Or $5 more. $5.
Once spent like $100.
He owed me like
He actually beat me.
$450 one time.
I don't know why he knew.
How much money will be in the bank after a year?
Oh my God.
So we add up like
Oh my God.
oh my god, money he doesn't have a dog. To this day, he still has a dog.
All right. Okay, number 2. What is the time for number 2? Read it. 'Cause it's very important that you.
A year.
1 year.
How do you know it's 1 year?
How much money will be in the bank after a year?
Yes,
A year.
a year. So you got to use your English skills for this one. It says a year. So when you read a year, it means 1 year. But what do kids forget to read? A year. A year means 1 year. So your time is equal to 1 year. But a lot of times kids are like, oh, it doesn't say, I don't know what to do. I know.